Hey, welcome to Board with Life News for September 24th. Today I'm going to talk about expansions for Battle Lore and Star Realms. I'm going to talk about a new look for Carcassonne. I'm going to talk about Cones of Dundee and the Kickstarter for Poseidons Kingdom. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. We released yesterday the first episode of our Dungeons & Dragons playthrough podcast where we're playing the starter set of Dungeons & Dragons. It's the same thing that we've been releasing on iTunes as a podcast, but this is just on YouTube, so if it's easier for you to listen to it there, you are welcome to do that. Tomorrow we will be releasing the 8th episode of that ongoing podcast. We're playing through the Lost Mine of Phandelver, the starter set that came with the new 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. So go check that out. Subscribe on iTunes if you're an Apple user. I've got links down below for just the MP3 download if you don't like Apple or don't use Apples. Fantasy Flight Games announced this week that there's going to be 2 new expansions for Battle Lore, the popular kind of mythic battle game based on the Memoir 44 system. They're both going to include 4 new unit types. Then they will have over 30 figures, army cards, lore decks, terrain tiles, and scenario cards. And those are going to be coming out the first quarter of 2015. So keep an eye out for those. We also got news of new expansions from Star Realms. They're going to release these in a kind of interesting way. The whole expansion pack thing is going to be called Crisis, but it's going to be made up of 4 unique expansion packs that have 12 cards each. They're not going to be randomized like Magic the Gathering boosters, but they will be 4 different sets. So if you buy all 4, you'll get 48 expansion cards. If you just buy 1, you'll get 12 expansion cards. They are bases and battleships, fleets and fortresses, events, and heroes. So I guess that's kind of cool if you only want new bases for that game or you want all of them. But yeah, so kind of an interesting way that they're marketing that, and we'll see if that works. Z-Man Games announced that Carcassonne is getting a makeover. It's going to get new cover art and new art for the tiles, but the tile backs will still be the same patterns, so you can mix them in if you already have expansions for the old set or things like that. So kind of interesting. It's sort of an update, but at the same time, like, it's not like Ticket to Ride where it was like this huge grand thing where they completely redid the look of the game. It's just kind of a tweak of that, I guess. You know, they probably have market research or something that says people are more likely to buy it off Toys R Us shelves if it has this cover art. So I don't know. I'm sure they have a better idea of what they're doing than I do, but kind of weird, but good, I guess, if you want new artwork for Carcassonne. If you're that person, Joe, I'm talking to you, Joe. You always talk to me about how you want new artwork for Carcassonne. You're always saying, Chris, I love Carcassonne, but this artwork, I got to get new artwork. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Just get over it, Joe. Joe's not a real person. I mean, Joe is there are really people named Joe, but that was improv comedy for you. I know that it looks seamless and just like perfect. Like, man, how he must really have a friend named Joe. That's acting. And scene. And now weird news. Mayfair Games announced that they're gonna really make Cones of Dundee because we're in a weird hobby, I guess. So for those of you who don't know, Cones of Dundee was a fake game that Mayfair helped to design for the TV sitcom Parks and Rec, because one of the characters in that show designs a game that's overly complicated and kind of is like a spoof on overly complicated games. Well, that got popular because, you know, we don't have a lot of media attention at all in our little hobby, so whenever anything's in the media of any sort, we all freak out and go, ah, crazy. So that got really popular. It was kind of just a joke. And then Mayfair organized a charity event at Gen Con this year where you could actually play Cones of Dundee. They made a sort of game of it. Not sort of game, they made a game. Well, that got huge press and a lot of publicity and all that kind of stuff. And so now they are going to actually release the game, Cones of Dundee. They plan to kickstart it, a deluxe version, and it's going to cost $100, and then they're going to follow up with a standard version that costs $60 or $70. You know, I mean, if you've ever really wanted a game that was based off a joke about a not good game, then now's a great time to be in the hobby. On to Kickstarter news. Poseidons Kingdom is getting a 2nd edition reprint. This is big news because it was initially released by Fragor Games. They famously release very small editions of their games at Essen each year. They have a new game, and so they're very sought after and hard to find. Snowtails was one of these a year or 2 ago, that kind of stuff. So this is getting a reprint finally. It initially came out in 2011. It's for 2 to 4 players, and the coolest part of this game is it's got some really interesting components, and it's got this wave that you load up with dice, and it's like a cardboard wave, and then you tump it over and the wave splashes across the board, and where the dice fall determines points and things like that. Pretty cool, unique game, unique components. It is $69 right now on Kickstarter. You should head over there right now and back that if that's your style. Joe? All right, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and subscribe on iTunes, because it makes us happy. This week's question comes from @MDRidlin, @RiskLog098, and @WG Tabletop. They all ask me generally about games that I'm excited about coming out at Essen this year. I haven't gone through the whole list of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games yet, and I might, if I have time this coming week, do a video of that where I release, my top 10 picks for Essen 2014. But some of them that have just kind of been on my radar lately are Colors of Carcassonne, which is this beautiful card game where you're like trading textiles and stuff. It looks gorgeous on the table. It's Japanese. It looks very interesting. La Isla and Aquasphere, because they're both by Stefan Feld, and he's one of my absolute favorite designers, so anything he does, I'm interested in. Also, in that respect, Fields of Arle, because Uwe Rosenberg is also one of my absolute favorite designers. Mythotopia is by Martin Wallace. He did A Few Acres of Snow, and I thought that game was really, really interesting, and I think this game is going to continue with that kind of like deck building mechanic to play a board game, where it's kind of like you're building a deck in order to play a board game, which I thought was really interesting, so I'm excited about that one. Castles of Mad King Ludwig is by Ted Alspach. He did Suburbia, which was a tile-laying game that I really, really liked that came out last year. And this one is also a tile-laying game, but the tiles are all like weird shapes and you're trying to build a crazy castle. It looks really cool on the table. I think that's very interesting. Colt Express is kind of a train robbery game where you're going through a train, but the train is actually like 3-dimensional, where you can like run on top of the train or inside the train. And that just looks cool. I don't know how the game plays, but it looks cool. And Dice Brewing, which is a dice building game about brewing beer that I thought sounded pretty interesting. All right, that's the news for this week. I'll see you next week.